Y'all, I am divorced. I am motherfucking divorced. Y'all don't even know how good this shit feel. Like, I feel free. I'm divorced, bitch. I told y'all, yeah. Big divorce on paper. And I'm happy about it. Man, my man got a bad bitch in real life. In real motherfucking life. And I ain't never going nowhere. We locked in. You can't compare where you can't compete, stink. Yeah, you know, him, that's me. Bye.
The 4th of July is meant to be a celebration of freedom. But for the city of Fort Worth, Texas, Independence Day 2024 became a night of horror, death, and silence. As families gathered on Castleman Street to enjoy fireworks, barbecue, and loud music, a well-known face in the neighborhood, Tasha Heyman, was live-streaming the fun. A respected entrepreneur and makeup artist, Tasha was simply doing what she always did, sharing the joy with her online community. But something went wrong. Fireworks turned to threats. Loud music became mass chaos. Then came the rapid crack of gunfire. On camera, viewers watching confusion as people screamed and ran. And in an instant, Tasha's live stream froze. She had been hit. Fatally. She wasn't the only one. That night, 19-year-old Marcus Martin Jr. also lost his life on the same street. 2 others were wounded. Just 10 minutes later, another shooting broke out on the other side of town. A 26-year-old man opened fire at a car wash, killing a father and 2 baby girls, age 4 and just 15 months old. In total, 5 people died, all within the span of an hour. 2 crime scenes, multiple shooters, and almost no answers. Latasha Heyman was 39 years old, a black businesswoman, a mentor, a bride-to-be. Now, a victim of what police have called reckless violence. Who was Tasha, really? Was she targeted, or just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Why did no one see it coming, despite the massive crowds and live streams? And more importantly, why has this case gone quiet? Today, we examine the timeline, facts, and fallout of the Fort Worth 4th of July massacre, what really happened to Tasha Heyman, and why her murder still haunts the people who watched it unfold in real time. If you enjoy real crime stories that uncover the truth, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us share real cases, spread awareness, and give a voice to those who can't speak for themselves. Before we begin, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from, and what are your thoughts as the story unfolds? Welcome to True Crime Tales, where we reveal the crimes that shock communities and the secrets hidden behind closed doors. These are real people, real events, real consequences. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's begin. Latasha Heyman, widely known in her community as Tasha, was a 39-year-old entrepreneur based in Fort Worth, Texas. She was a founder and owner of a small but successful beauty brand called Slay by Shay, a makeup studio that operated both online and in person. Tasha was recognized for her skill in makeup artistry, but her visibility in the community extended far beyond her business. Her professional reputation was built largely through digital platforms. Tasha regularly live-streamed makeup tutorials, product reviews, and get ready with me sessions. She also used her platform to cover community events, such as local vendor markets, black-owned business expos, and holiday gatherings. Her live streams were often casual but consistent, allowing her to develop a recognizable presence both online and offline. Tasha's business, Slay by Shay, was promoted heavily through social media. She maintained a sizable following on platforms like Instagram and Facebook, where she posted photos of her work, customer transformations, and behind-the-scenes clips from her studio. She also advertised beauty classes for beginners, which were held in partnership with other local entrepreneurs. Her content had a focus on self-care, independent income, and supporting Black-owned ventures. Over time, she became not only a beauty influencer but a low-level public figure in the Fort Worth community. Beyond her professional pursuits, Tasha was known personally as someone who remained highly visible in neighborhood circles. She was regularly seen at barbecues, local parades, birthday parties, and vendor fairs. According to multiple accounts, she was a familiar face at city-hosted events and often served as a vendor or sponsor. Her connections extended into faith groups, women's small business associations, and community health campaigns. She was considered approachable and consistent in attendance at public functions. Latasha Heyman was engaged to a man named Tommy Howard. The couple had been together for several years, and photos of them appeared frequently on her social media platforms. On the night of her death, July 4th, 2024, she was live streaming from outside Tommy's mother's home on Castleman Street, documenting what appeared to be a lively Independence Day block party. The couple reportedly had plans to officially marry in the following year. At the time of her death, she was still actively promoting her brand and maintaining business operations both online and offline. Tasha's reputation was grounded in more than just her work. In interviews conducted after her death, family members confirmed that she was a regular caregiver for her niece and nephew. She also supported other small-scale beauty professionals, occasionally offering free mentorship or workspace in her studio. She did not have any prior criminal record, nor were there any known affiliations with violent groups or criminal individuals. Police records confirmed that she had not been previously targeted or involved in any incidents related to weapons, theft, or conflict. At community level, Tasha held influence within the local black business economy. Her brand was featured at cultural festivals and vendor nights organized by grassroots organizations. Footage from past events shows her setting up booths, applying makeup live, and interviewing other small business owners. In one video recorded a few months before her death, she addressed a group of teenage girls at a career workshop, discussing her path into entrepreneurship and social media marketing. Media reports confirmed that she had no known enemies, and law enforcement at the time of investigation stated that there was no immediate evidence to suggest she had been directly targeted. However, she was fatally shot while live streaming during a public event with a large number of attendees. The area she was standing in had no record of police surveillance at the time, and no formal security presence was hired for the block party. On the night of July 4th, 2024, a large block party took place on Castleman Street in Fort Worth, Texas. Approximately 200 to 300 individuals gathered for the annual Independence Day celebration. The event was informal and not sanctioned by city officials. Attendees included local residents, friends, families, and online content creators. Among them was Tasha Heyman, a 39-year-old entrepreneur known for live streaming events in the area. The gathering initially started as a peaceful celebration with food, music, and fireworks. However, by 10:30 p.m., behavior within the crowd began to escalate. Eyewitnesses and early police reports confirmed the first signs of unrest at that time. Individuals started setting off commercial-grade fireworks aimed not just into the sky, but directly toward residential houses lining Castleman Street. This act was seen by some attendees as a provocation. Several residents expressed concerns, but no formal police reports were made at that point. Simultaneously, vehicles began performing illegal stunts, referred to as donuts, in the middle of the crowded street. Videos later recovered from the scene showed at least 2 vehicles rapidly spinning in place, kicking up smoke and drawing a crowd dangerously close to the moving vehicles. This further contributed to the chaotic atmosphere. These stunts not only disrupted traffic, but also created a highly unstable environment that made it difficult for law enforcement or emergency services to access the scene if needed. At approximately 10:45 p.m., Latasha Heyman began a live stream on social media from outside the home of her fiancé's mother, located on Castleman Street. She was standing near the driveway, holding her phone up and commenting on the size of the crowd and the volume of the fireworks. Her live stream reportedly had several viewers at the time, many of whom initially assumed the background noise was celebratory. By 10:50 p.m., 5 minutes into her live stream, multiple gunshots rang out. Witnesses reported hearing several distinct weapons firing simultaneously. The crowd scattered in all directions. In the footage, panic was visible. Some attendees fell while fleeing. Tasha Heyman was struck by gunfire during the chaos and collapsed on camera. The live stream cut off shortly afterward. She was later pronounced dead at the scene. In the same shooting, a 19-year-old male named Marcus Martin Jr. was also fatally shot. He was located just a few feet from where Tasha had been recording. He was pronounced dead shortly after first responders arrived. 2 other individuals were also shot during the incident. Their identities have not been publicly released, but police confirmed that their injuries were non-life-threatening. At 11 p.m., the Fort Worth Police Department received multiple 911 calls reporting a mass shooting on Castleman Street. Units were dispatched immediately. Upon arrival, officers encountered a chaotic and disorganized scene. Many individuals had already fled. Emergency medical services confirmed the deaths of both Tasha Heyman and Marcus Martin Jr. on site. The two additional victims were transported to nearby hospitals. Investigators recovered over 100 shell casings from the scene. Preliminary forensic analysis determined that the gunfire came from multiple weapons, indicating the involvement of more than one shooter. No weapons were recovered at the scene that night. Surveillance footage from nearby houses and social media videos, including Tasha's livestream, were collected for analysis. In the days following the incident, authorities identified and arrested 21-year-old Todd Eric Rogers in connection with the Castleman Street shooting. He was charged with murder. No motive was released at the time of his arrest. The investigation remained ongoing, and law enforcement continued to request additional information from witnesses and members of the community. Despite the high number of attendees, police reported limited witness cooperation. Many individuals either refused to speak or claimed not to have seen the shooters. Some sources within the neighborhood cited fear of retaliation as a reason for the silence. Key questions remain unresolved. Was the shooting premeditated or a spontaneous act of violence? Was Latasha Hymond a targeted victim or collateral damage? How did over 100 rounds get fired in a residential neighborhood without prior intervention? After her death, background footage and photos circulated widely across social media. In these materials, Tasha is seen applying makeup to clients, posing with her fiancé, and participating in community panels. The footage helped identify the exact moment she was shot during her live stream, which later became part of the investigation timeline. Her death marked the end of a business that had taken her years to build and silenced a voice that had reached thousands online. While her digital footprint remains active, her final video, captured the night of her death, serves as a chilling reminder of how quickly a public celebration can become a fatal event. To date, Castleman Street remains a symbol of a celebration turned deadly. The gunfire that erupted at 10:50 p.m. not only ended the lives of two individuals, but also left lasting trauma across the neighborhood and among online viewers who witnessed it live. The full motives and identities of all involved parties are still under investigation. Approximately 10 minutes after the Castleman Street shooting that left Latasha Heyman and Marcus Martin Jr. dead, a second violent incident occurred 5 miles away at the Crystal Clean Car Wash on West Cleburne Road, Fort Worth. The suspect in this second shooting was identified as Kenneth Murphy, a 26-year-old male with a prior criminal record. According to eyewitness reports and surveillance footage later reviewed by law enforcement, the shooting began after an argument escalated between Murphy and another individual at the car wash. The reason for the initial conflict has not been officially released, but police sources indicated that it was unrelated to the earlier Castleman Street shooting. Following the verbal confrontation, Murphy left the immediate area and retrieved a semi-automatic rifle from his vehicle. He then returned and opened fire on multiple individuals, including those not involved in the argument. His actions were immediate and indiscriminate. The confirmed victims of the shooting were Terrell Wynn, a 42-year-old male who was standing nearby, Ivy Pierce, age 4, Winter Thousand, age 15 months. The two young girls were inside a parked vehicle at the time of the shooting. Reports confirm that they were accompanied by their older sister, who sustained injuries but survived. All three children were inside the car when Murphy began firing. Ballistics recovered from the scene indicate that multiple rounds penetrated the vehicle from close range. The two toddlers were pronounced dead at the scene. Emergency services were dispatched shortly after 11 p.m. Responding officers located Murphy on site with gunshot wounds of his own. It remains unclear whether these were self-inflicted or the result of armed civilians or return fire from law enforcement. Murphy was transported to a local hospital, treated under custody, and later charged with capital murder for the deaths of the three individuals. Surveillance footage confirmed Murphy's identity and his direct involvement in the shooting. Witnesses on site corroborated that the altercation was personal in nature and had escalated without any warning signs of planned mass violence. However, law enforcement did not rule out the possibility of substance use, mental health instability, or other influences that may have played a role in Murphy's behavior that evening. The Fort Worth Police Department conducted an independent investigation into the car wash shooting. At the time of the incident, authorities had already been engaged at the Castleman Street shooting and were stretched thin due to multiple emergency calls from across the city related to fireworks and crowd activity typical of Independence Day celebrations. This second incident, occurring so soon after the Castleman event, prompted questions about the possibility of coordinated or connected violence, though police have not confirmed any direct link between the two crime scenes. Investigators noted that the timing and proximity of the shootings caused confusion during the early hours of the investigation. Initial theories about retaliation or gang involvement were explored, but not substantiated with evidence as of the last official update. In both shootings, children were among the casualties. Ivy Pierce and Winter Thouston became two of the youngest victims of gun violence in Fort Worth in recent memory. Their deaths sparked immediate reaction online and raised concerns about the safety of public gatherings and family spaces during national holidays. The case also triggered criticism of public safety measures and emergency preparedness by city officials. Although multiple units responded quickly to both scenes, the spread of resources and the volume of 911 calls that evening revealed gaps in rapid response coordination during multi-location incidents. Police confirmed that Kenneth Murphy acted alone in the car wash shooting. As of now, no accomplices have been identified, and no secondary shooters were reported at that scene. Murphy remains in custody and awaits trial for 3 counts of capital murder and 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Authorities have urged the public to come forward with any additional footage, social media activity, or witness accounts that may help piece together the full timeline of Murphy's movements before and after the incident. Now, 2 shootings have occurred within 10 minutes of each other at 2 unrelated public spaces involving multiple victims, including women and children. How did a holiday spiral into coordinated violence at 2 different locations within minutes of each other? Was there a deeper connection between the Castleman Street shooting and the Crystal Clean car wash attack? Are these incidents isolated or symptoms of something larger happening in our communities? What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below. Law enforcement arrived at the Castleman Street crime scene shortly after 11 p.m. on July 4th, 2024. Officers were responding to multiple 911 calls reporting an active shooter situation at a crowded block party in Fort Worth's southeast side. Upon arrival, they encountered a chaotic scene with hundreds of people fleeing in various directions. Several individuals were found wounded. 2 people, Latasha, Tasha Heyman, and 19-year-old Marcus Martin Jr., were pronounced dead at the scene. 2 others sustained non-life-threatening gunshot injuries. A preliminary sweep of the area resulted in the recovery of over 100 spent shell casings. The shell casings were found scattered across the street, sidewalks, and in front yards of nearby homes. Ballistics analysis later confirmed that multiple types of firearms had been discharged during the shooting. Police identified the use of both handguns and long rifles. The variety of casings indicated that more than one shooter may have been involved. Forensic technicians began cataloging evidence overnight. Surveillance footage was collected from nearby homes and businesses. Law enforcement also reviewed social media videos posted in real time, including a live stream broadcast by Latasha Heyman moments before she was shot. Investigators used crowdsourced footage and cell phone data to create a preliminary timeline of the shooting. Despite the heavy presence of witnesses, estimated between 200 to 300 individuals, police reported limited cooperation during the first 48 hours of the investigation. Many potential witnesses refused to give statements. Others claimed not to have seen the shooter or shooters. According to Fort Worth PD, this lack of community engagement significantly slowed down the identification process for suspects. 2 weeks later, on July 18, 2024, police arrested 21-year-old Todd Eric Rogers in connection with the Castleman Street shooting. Rogers was charged with murder. According to the arrest affidavit, ballistics evidence linked a firearm found in Rogers' possession to some of the shell casings recovered at the scene. Rogers had a prior criminal history involving illegal possession of firearms and resisting arrest. At the time of his arrest, authorities did not release any information regarding Rogers' motive. Investigators stated that the case remained active and open. As of the arrest date, no additional suspect had been charged or identified in relation to the Castleman shooting. Police acknowledged the possibility that more individuals may have been involved, but did not elaborate further. Approximately 10 minutes after the Castleman shooting, officers responded to a separate incident at the Crystal Clean Car Wash on West Cleburne Road. According to police reports, 26-year-old Kenneth Murphy became involved in a verbal altercation with another individual on site. Murphy reportedly returned to his vehicle, retrieved a semi-automatic rifle, and opened fire. The shooting at the car wash resulted in the deaths of 3 individuals: 42-year-old Tara Wynn, 4-year-old Ivy Pierce, and 15-month-old Winter Thouston. Another child was seriously injured. Murphy was also wounded in exchange. He was arrested at the scene and later charged with capital murder. Surveillance footage, eyewitness testimony, and recovered weaponry supported the charges filed against him. Police confirmed that the Castleman Street shooting and the Crystal Clean Car Wash shooting were not directly related. The timing of the 2 incidents created initial speculation about a coordinated attack, but further investigation concluded that they were separate and unrelated events. Following both shootings, Fort Worth PD faced criticism for the pace of the investigation. Many residents questioned why arrests were not made sooner, especially considering the number of witnesses and the abundance of digital evidence available. Law enforcement officials defended the procedures, citing the need for forensic validation and legal thresholds before filing charges. To date, no additional arrests have been made in connection to the Castleman shooting. Authorities have not released a clear motive for why the shooting occurred at the Castleman Street gathering. No gang affiliations or targeted motives have been officially disclosed by law enforcement. Police have stated they are still reviewing digital evidence and encouraging witnesses to come forward. The Fort Worth Police Department has urged the public to submit any information anonymously through Crime Stoppers. Investigators also emphasize the role of community involvement in resolving violent crimes. Despite repeated requests for assistance, many witnesses from that night have remained silent. The lack of cooperation, combined with the delay in making arrests, has raised broader concerns about community trust in law enforcement and the challenges of investigating crimes and high-density events with limited witness engagement. Authorities continue to label the Castleman Street shooting as an ongoing investigation. The current status of the case suggests that key questions remain unanswered. These include the total number of shooters, the intended targets, if any, and the motive behind the violence. Law enforcement maintains that more arrests may follow as forensic analysis and witness interviews progress. The Castleman and Crystal Clean shootings on July 4th remain among the deadliest back-to-back incidents in Fort Worth in recent history. The law enforcement response, while ultimately leading to 2 arrests, reflects the complexities of handling chaotic, large-scale crime scenes under public scrutiny. On July 13, 2024, 9 days after the 4th of July shooting in Fort Worth, the funeral service for Latasha Tasha Heyman was held at Christ Cathedral Church. The event drew widespread attention from both the local community and the media. Church officials estimated that the number of attendees exceeded the venue's seating capacity by nearly 40%. Some individuals stood at the back, while others listened from outside. The crowd included relatives, friends, former clients of her makeup business, local residents, and clergy from surrounding churches. Latasha Heyman, 39, was one of 2 people killed during the Castleman Street block party shooting. As a respected small business owner and a visible presence on social media, her death received significant attention. The wake began at 10 a.m. and lasted for over 2 hours. Attendees were asked to wear purple and silver, colors reportedly chosen by her fiancé, Tommy Howard, as they were among her favorites. Heyman's casket was closed. Her photo, featuring her smiling and wearing professional makeup, was displayed at the front of the church. Security was visibly present throughout the event, including uniformed officers from the Fort Worth Police Department and private security contracted by the church. This was in response to growing concerns about safety at public gatherings following the Independence Day shootings. The program included remarks from several family members, former colleagues, and religious leaders. Her cousin, Pastor Felton Jenkins, read a short tribute noting that Tasha had built her life on helping others feel beautiful. A former co-worker described her as someone who worked 6 days a week but never failed to answer client calls. These remarks were delivered briefly and respectfully. No open discussion about the circumstances of her death was permitted during the official church service. Following the church service, mourners moved outside for a balloon release. Dozens of helium-filled balloons in purple, silver, and white were distributed. At exactly noon, they were released into the sky. Volunteers handed out candles and printed cards featuring Hymond's photo and the phrase, "Justice for Tasha." This vigil was coordinated by members of a local community group focused on victims of gun violence. The atmosphere was quiet, and participation was orderly. City officials did not speak at the event, but were seen in attendance, including Fort Worth Councilmember Chris Nettles and representatives from the mayor's office. Press was limited to designated areas and was not allowed to approach family members during the event. According to reporters at the scene, attendees were discouraged from discussing any ongoing investigations or suspects. In the evening, a separate candlelight vigil was held at the same location on Castleman Street, where Tasha had been killed. This vigil was organized by a grassroots coalition called Stop the Violence FW. Candles were placed in a circle where the shooting occurred. Participants held signs calling for justice and community safety. Organizers took turns reading the names of all 5 victims from both July 4 shootings, including Tasha, Marcus Martin Jr., Terrell Wynn, Ivy Pierce, and Winter Thouston. There were no speeches made at this vigil. During this period, Reverend Kiev Tatum Sr., a well-known Fort Worth pastor and community organizer, held a press briefing near the site of the car wash shooting. He did not attend Tasha's funeral, but addressed a wider issue of community violence. Speaking to reporters, Reverend Tatum stated, "We can't continue to bury our children and our future leaders without holding ourselves and our systems accountable." He called on city officials, pastors, and black community leaders to form a unified front against local gun violence. He proposed a multi-church initiative involving mentorship programs, conflict mediation, and tighter restrictions on unsanctioned block parties. In addition to these public responses, online campaigns gained traction following Tasha's funeral. A Facebook page titled Justice for Tasha Heyman was launched by friends, gathering over 2,000 followers within a week. The page encouraged witnesses to come forward with information about the Castleman Street shooting. It also promoted memorial merchandise, including T-shirts and bracelets, to raise funds for legal support and family expenses. The funeral and aftermath confirmed the scale of impact the killing had on the Fort Worth community. The events were highly organized, security conscious, and focused on remembrance rather than protest. Still, they laid the groundwork for future advocacy efforts and a demand for answers regarding the violence that took 5 lives in a single night. To this day, questions remain unanswered. The turnout and structured response from community members underscore one thing: the memory of Latasha Heyman will not be forgotten, and the demand for justice continues. The investigation into the Castleman Street shooting remains unresolved, despite multiple eyewitnesses and a recorded live stream. One of the central unanswered questions is whether Tasha Heyman was targeted or simply caught in the crossfire. No clear motive has been released by law enforcement. Tasha had no known criminal affiliations, no public feuds, and no history of violence. Her online presence focused on beauty, entrepreneurship, and lifestyle. However, she was filming live at the time, which may have inadvertently captured individuals involved in illegal activity. Was she silenced for what she saw, or was she simply a visible figure at the wrong place and time? Another possibility is that the shooting was not random but gang-related. Castleman Street was crowded, with more than 200 people present. Witnesses described street takeovers with cars doing donuts and fireworks being launched at homes. These are common tactics for asserting territorial dominance. The fact that over 100 shell casings from multiple firearms were found suggests coordination. Could this have been a planned display of power or retaliation? Then, there's the timing of the second shooting, just 10 minutes later, at the Crystal Clean car wash across town. It raises the question: was there any link between the two events? Was the city experiencing a broader wave of violence that night, or were these unrelated incidents that coincidentally erupted on the same holiday? Despite the scale of both shootings, there was no emergency broadcast or citywide alert. No lockdowns. No sirens. This reveals a breakdown in rapid response communication systems, especially in high-density urban areas. With multiple casualties in 2 locations, why was there no coordinated warning for residents? Why did it take days for suspects to be arrested? Another aspect is the behavior of the crowd. Several individuals were live streaming, recording, or taking photos during and after the gunfire. While Tasha's live stream ended with her death, others continued filming. Why were people prioritizing content over safety? Why did no one intervene? And finally, why has there been so much silence? With hundreds of people present, very few came forward publicly. Fear of retaliation, distrust of police, and community codes of silence may be factors. But with multiple lives lost, including children, the absence of witness cooperation is notable. The intersection of gun culture and holiday celebrations in the U.S. is increasingly dangerous. Fireworks, crowds, and loud environments often mask the sound of gunfire, delaying response times. Celebrations become chaotic quickly, and July 4th consistently ranks among the deadliest days for shootings nationwide. Social media has further complicated public reactions. Violence is now documented and consumed in real time. People are not only witnesses, they're broadcasters. Platforms like Instagram Live and Facebook Live turn trauma into content. The desensitization to violence is evident. Viewers often comment, share, and replay videos of shootings without any engagement in the legal process or support for victims. Death becomes entertainment. And in the case of Tasha, her death happened on camera. This introduces a new phenomenon, what researchers call digital death. Victims like Tasha are not only murdered in public, but also in view of hundreds or thousands online. Their final moments are replayed, dissected, and sometimes memified. There is psychological toll on audiences, families, and even investigators. Yet, it's become normalized. Live streaming is a double-edged sword. While it can provide crucial evidence, it also increases the risk of victims being targeted. If someone is filming a crime unknowingly, they could become a threat to those involved. This is a real concern in unsolved cases like this one. Do you think Tasha's live stream could help solve the crime? Did it capture faces, voices, or vehicles before the shooting began? Why do communities fall silent after such public killings? Is it fear, distrust, or something deeper? What responsibility do bystanders and digital witnesses have? Should filming be accompanied by a moral obligation to report what was seen? We encourage anyone with information to come forward. Tips can be made anonymously through Tarrant County Crime Stoppers at 817-469-8477. Let's not forget the victims. Latasha Tasha Heyman, 39. Marcus Martin Jr., 19. Terrell Wynn, 42. Ivy Pierce, 4. Winter Thouston, 15 months. Their stories deserve justice. Their names should not fade into silence. If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.